twisted, true story.
My grandmother died about 5 years ago, and to be honest, it was the happiest day of my life. And before you judge me and call me a horrible person, just wait until the end of this story. Everyone has, or has had a grandparent, and most grandparents are loving and gentle, but my grandmother was probably the worst and scariest grandmother that has ever existed in the history of the planet. As a child, I was so terrified of her that just the mere sight of her would make me vomit. Our family originated from down south, New Orleans to be exact. And in the South, voodoo is very common. My grandmother was into voodoo, and was known for putting dark spells on people. Sometimes it was for defense, but most of the time, it was just for shits and giggles. And unfortunately, we, her grandchildren, were the ones who she scared for fun. She would play these hide-and-seek games, and they weren't your ordinary games. When we hid from her, we were scared that if she found us, we would be killed. Fast forward years later, I am now in my 20s, and my grandmother was in need of my help. She needed me to stay with her for a few days due to her having to have surgery. At first, I was hesitant, but me being the kind-hearted person that I am, I decided to take care of her. So I packed my things, and headed to Ohio, where she was located. When I arrived, I wasn't greeted with a hug or even a simple thank you, not that I was really expecting it because I knew how she was. So I headed to the guest room and unpacked my things. For the first few days, everything was fine, but that could have been because I stayed clear of her. Then one night, during a powerful thunderstorm, the power went out. I told my grandmother not to worry, and lit a few candles to light the room. I ended up going back to my room to read a book since there is never much to do during a power outage. But before long, I was out like a light. But then, I was awakened by the clash of thunder, followed by my grandmother standing over me. And the scariest part was, she was holding a baseball bat that had dried up blood on it. And then she said in a creepy voice,
"I see you. Do you want to play hide and seek?"
I screamed at the top of my lungs and ran down to the basement. I pulled up a chair toward the windows with the idea of lifting myself in order to climb through, but then realized the windows were boarded up. Then I heard a banging on the basement door. I was trapped. What was I going to do? I thought to myself. My grandmother had lost her mind. She really wanted to kill me. I looked around me looking for something to defend myself with. And that's when I saw jars on shelves. And inside of those jars looked to be human remains. As I said, my grandmother was deeply into voodoo. And those must have been the items she used in her spells and rituals. Then, she started to bang on the door louder with her baseball bat. At that moment, I saw my life flash before my very eyes. Then all of a sudden, the door had flung open, and there she stood at the top of the stairs. I immediately ran behind one of the shelves as I heard her slowly walking down the stairs. And when she got to the middle of the stairs, she said,
"Where are you?"
I waited for the perfect opportunity to escape, so when she was far enough from the stairs I immediately ran up the stairs, but then I tripped, fell down the stairs, and landed on my back. When I looked up she was standing over me with a creepy smile, then said,
I see you. Do you want to play hide and seek?
Then she raised the bat. I knew right then and there that my life was over, but somehow I got up enough strength to stand up, then ran up the stairs and slammed the door, locking her down there in the basement. I ran back to my bedroom, picked up my phone and dialed the police, but before they were able to pick up, the phone went dead. She had cut the phone lines. Then I heard a crash, followed by footsteps coming down the hallway. Then I heard her say,
Where are you?
Then she began banging on my bedroom door. At first, I was going to hide in the closet, but figured that would be too obvious. Then I was going to hide underneath the bed, but that was too obvious as well. So I opened the bedroom window and climbed out of it. Then, she crashed through the door.
Where are you?
Her house was located next to the woods, so I ran toward the wooded area as fast as I could, and hid in the bushes as she continued chasing after me. As I hid quietly, I watched her pass right by me, not even knowing I was hiding in those bushes. Then I forgot I was allergic to bushes, then began to sneeze. She quickly turned around and saw me.
I see you. Do you want to play hide and seek?
I then ran back to the house, locked all of the doors and prayed for someone to come find me. Then, I heard a banging on the front door. I was so scared that I couldn't move. I had prepared myself for death. Then the door was kicked in. Thank God it was the police. From time to time they came out and checked on my grandmother. And luckily that day was one of those days. I told them about what had happened, and that my grandmother was in the woods, and when they went to go check on her, she was dead. She had been crushed by one of the trees that must have been weak and fell on her. As I said in the beginning of this story, the day that she died was the happiest day of my life. And now, you can see why.
If you love horror at its finest, join my streaming service, Dark and Twisted TV, to watch my exclusive animated horror series, My Girlfriend Wants to Kill Me, and more. Others have joined. So what are you waiting for? Join today. Link in the description.